corner of Bank Street and is right opposite Kencom. And pre-independence used to be a bank for Indians and still has a bank vault in the basement. Want to know what I'm talking about? Stay tuned. We have all walked by it or given it a cursory glance as we walk to and from work. But behind the yellow walls of the Kenyan National Archives is a hub of record keeping and a government organ that serves as the memory of this nation. When you first walk into the archives, you may be mistaken to think that it is merely an art gallery. Indeed, it does contain a vast catalogue of African heritage arts. But the Kenyan National Archives is significantly more than that.
This is a public institution charged with the responsibility of ensuring that valuable and historical records created within the public service are preserved here, are put in custody here as the memory of this nation. That is, the records from all the ministries, departments, local authorities, or any public office are housed here for the sake of provision of research, quick reference to the mwananchi. So this place is a public office like any other.
This enduring Kenyan landmark was originally constructed in 1931, and the land on which it stands was originally the Nairobi headquarters of the National Bank of India. Everyone knows this area as commercial, but not really the history on which it was founded.
The history behind this building is very historical. When the railway reached Nairobi in 1899, this site, the present site where the National Archives is housed, was donated to the Indian coolies to build their first bank to deposit and for the custody of the rupees. Later on, the government thought of establishing its first indigenous bank, and that is how the Kenya Commercial Bank building came about. And this is why you hear majority of the people, including the matatus, calling this place commercial. They don't know what commercial is, but they say commercial, meaning around this area, because this was the first Kenya Commercial Bank building. After the Kencom was completed, the government acquired this building for the purposes of establishing a national art gallery.
Documents and records come from all over Kenya. Most have been ill-attended to, so they come in a very bad state. So it is up to the restoration department to try and renovate and safeguard our history. In this department, chemicals are used to remove discoloration and ensure the ink from the writing is even brighter. All relevant material is wrapped in a translucent material and is then bound together. This makes it easier for researchers. The archives take all documents and records from government offices and houses them here. All documents from before independence can be found here. Just imagine the wealth of Kenyan history in these walls.
The National Archives actually houses all types of records. We have records in paper format, we call them the conventional records, and records in a paper format which we call the non-conventional type of records. That is, those are records such as the microfilms, we have tapes, we have videos, we have discs containing information and the records of all types, including music. So you'll find everything in the National Archives.
You can research public records on virtually any area of government through its library and search room located on the first floor of the building. The research room is busy. All it takes is 200 shillings membership fee and all sorts of documentation are released to you. Researchers from all over the world come here to study Kenya, the pre- and post-colonial maps, publications, and even colonial correspondence from Britain to Kenya and vice versa. Even though we pass this building every single day, all one has to do is walk in and Kenya's history will be unveiled to you.
Everybody, including the Mwananchi himself and any other researcher, because this is information. Archives is information. These are records which are valuable and enduring value, preserved here for exploitation. So we provide access to each and everybody, exclusive of race, creed, except that one has to be 18 years and above.
If you are more of a visual learner such as myself, the National Archives has various audio-visual components, and this was truly a treat. We started in the microfilming department. Here old documents such as newspapers from as early as 1902 are photographed and put onto reels and projected. This newspaper is from 1902. Even though many of the early publications have been destroyed, we were privileged to see this original African Standard from 1908. As I went through the fragile paper, this story jumped out of me, part of our history. 75,000 Africans in German East Africa, now Tanzania, were starved on the railway to feed German soldiers. In response, the government at that time said it was necessary to keep the railway construction going. How starving laborers would do this is a mystery to me, but this is a sample of the history in East Africa. Another component of the audiovisual element is the video reels and pictures. The authentic reels from as early as 1930 from the foreigners who explored Kenya, hence the amount of films on the Maasai and animals. If you look closely at this film, you can see everything frame by frame. As with all government documentation, some are extremely sensitive and confidential and are protected by a 30-year no-access rule.
Generally, the information stored in the National Archives is classified information, or it has got security gradings. You have the top secret, confidential, restricted, and the open. But generally, after 30 years, a document is supposed to be open, but that is not a blanket authority. We have to consider whether the document has got information which could be, injurious or incriminating, and which could, bring, civil unrest. For example, the Mau Mau records. The Mau Mau were very active from 1952 around to 1961, when the state of emergency was lifted. Those records are very sensitive, and up to now, they are opened selectively, notwithstanding the 30-year rule, because we know majority of us who are either collaborators or home guns, and the ones who went to the forest are very much alive and active.
The pictures are even a better source of our history. These pictures caught my eye. This is one where Kenyatta whispers into ex-President Moi's ears just before he died. Or this one of Haile Selassie on a state visit, with the then governor on his right and the then Prime Minister of Kenya on his left. This record-keeping service serves as the memory of this nation. Even if you are not born, your heritage awaits. You can find us on Facebook, that's Art Galore Power Breakfast, or send me an email on artgalore@royalmedia.co.ke, and join me next week for part 2 on the Kenya National Archives.